Kerr status, Curry's extension, Draymond Green, player option, Podzemski, contract extension, Horford, player option, Porzingis, free agent, Melton, free agent, and now maybe at the top of the list is you got to find a coach.
Yep. The reality is we're talking about, the best player arguably in the franchise ever in Steph Curry. So whatever that blank check, how many zeros Steph wants on is going to be on there. I get that. He's earned that. And then you could say, well, Goo, you're not looking at the task at hand. But I'm looking around the NBA, and he's still the number one selling jersey. Wednesday he put on a show, but can he do that, every other day? But the bottom line here in Warriors world this season was when Jimmy went down with the ACL, so did our hopes. And that's an indictment on the roster. And now you don't have Moody available and you don't have Jimmy. So I'm just here to see how they're going to move around the edges. But I do know the main characters are still going to be Steph Curry, Draymond Green. Now, Steve Kerr, I don't know, and I am curious to see how this plays out. But, I mean, you're not moving the chef. You're just not. I don't believe. And it starts and ends there.
Well, yeah, I don't think you're moving the chef either. The question is, are you extending him? And if so, for how much money? And that's going to be so tricky to my way of thinking. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are saying, well, whatever Steph asked for, he's worth.
Right.
And
they're writing that now in the
chat. He is. If we're talking about things outside of being a basketball player, he's no longer a $62 million player. And that's okay. You could probably get him for 40 or 50, but he's got to have some teammates who can hold up. Problem is if he has teammates that can hold up, then he's got to hold up. And Butler's got to hold up. Well, yeah, and Draymond's got to hold up.
And they didn't hold up this year.
Exactly. And so my question always is can you really just expect that they will next year? I like Pods, but he's playing too much, and he's got too big of a role on this team, and that happens with teams that don't have enough talent.
No doubt.
Then guys who should be slotted into certain roles have to try to expand their roles, and that usually comes with more inefficiency.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we grab Pods, without any changes right now, I would just tell the Pods haters to get ready for his role to increase or damn near be the same because, now I'm kind of doing a disservice to my thought because a lot could pop off. But right now it looks like he's solidified. And I'm telling you, man, I'm not saying it's the right decision, but I feel like he's eligible to get re-up his deal. I think that could happen this offseason. I know they could wait.
Yeah, the question is, are they going to treat him like Poole or are they going to treat him like Kamenga? Do they give him a big deal when he's eligible, or do they say, you got to wait? And why didn't the Warriors give Kamenga that deal at the time they could have? Is it because at that point he was asking for way too much money? If he truly were asking for a 150 that year, then maybe that's why the Warriors said we're tabling it. So if Pods asked for something ridiculous, I would think that the Warriors may do the same thing and just say, you know what, we'll hold on.
Well, how much more of $15 million is Pods worth to you, or is he that, or I'm just using the Moody deal?
He's around Moody, probably a little higher because he'll end up signing it a few years after Moody signed his. I don't know. I don't know what you can get Pods for.
Yeah, it's going to be curious. It's going to be interesting to see.
This is more Steve Kerr talking about what he may do or what he may not do.
Time for new blood and new ideas and all that. And if that's the case, then I will be just nothing but grateful for the most amazing opportunity any person could have to coach this franchise in front of our fans in the Bay, and to coach Steph Curry, to coach Dre, the whole group. So it may still go on. It may not. I don't know at this point. But we all need to step away a little bit and then reconvene.
Yeah, you know what? The only thing we're not hearing is, I want to be back. I want to coach this team. And I feel like the reason he doesn't want to say, I want to coach this team, is because he knows that it's not all his decision. Man. I don't think it's all his decision right now. I think they're going to talk about some stuff And I think that it's going to come down to whether Steve Kerr thinks Lacob and maybe to a lesser extent Dunleavy are being realistic with the situation that they're in right now.
I hear you. When do you think that changed? Because coming into this season, I thought, man, that's weird. But we had been here before with Steve Kerr coaching in the last season, and then the deal came. Do you think anything changed in regard to how good or bad the team was from a Joe Lacob standpoint?
Yeah, I think something
Kamenga
changed.
Thing?
Yeah, I mean, there were times all year long where it just didn't seem like Kerr was his normal self. I do think that there is, he does say things that probably rankle ownership when he talks about the team and how mortal it is at this stage of their careers. But he's been through it 3 times, and he knows what this looks like. And maybe that's the reason not to have him coach this team, because he knows how hard this is. And, like, in a way, I don't think Joe Lacob wants to hear it, because that's who Joe Lacob is. Joe Lacob wants to be the first team to have back-to-back dynasties somehow with only 3 years between them. And Steve Kerr probably thinks that's unrealistic. This is Draymond Green from the Draymond Green Show. And he released this today. This is more on what he thinks about what's going to happen with Kerr.
I've never been so uncertain since early in my career on what happens next, but I'm truly at a loss now because you just don't know what direction will be what. Steph, myself, Steve shared a moment in what could be our last time playing with Steve as our coach. I'm happy we got to share that moment, and he didn't miss the moment. It was a big deal. I hope he's our coach next year. You want my opinion? I think not. Just because it just feels like that. It felt like that was it. I also hope I'm on this team next year. We also don't know that. And man, if it was, what a run it's been. So lucky to have had for 12 years Steve as my coach. We shall see. I don't know. Just got to stay ready for whatever it is and roll with the punches.
Like you and I saying we don't think Kerr's coming back, that's one thing, But a guy instrumental in this dynasty and has been with this guy for a decade, for him to feel it and say it on his podcast as Draymond Green, that's heavy to me. And I'm sure he's privy to way more than you and I just on the inner goings or what's going on with management. But it seems like something's going on with management.
Yeah,
Steve Kerr.
Yeah, it's like I said, I thought a few months back he was gone. More recently, I thought, feels like he may stay.
Right.
And now, I guess if I had to bet, I don't think he's going to be back. And that is the one. That, to me, means more than anything that's been written or said by anybody. And that's Draymond Green says, I think not.
Man.
He doesn't think he's going to be back. Draymond Green.
Yeah, and he knows Steve Kerr.
So throw in, I just wrote down some things. Kerr's status, Curry's extension, Draymond Green, player option, Podzemski, contract extension, Horford, player option, Porzingis, free agent, Melton, free agent, and now maybe at the top of the list is you got to find a coach.
Yep. And it's fast. Or I say fast just in regard to Steve and the Warriors making that decision to let us know if he's here or he's gone.
Yeah. So we're going to find out what happens. I think sooner rather than later. I can't imagine the Warriors want to let the Kerr situation linger one way or the other. I mean, I do think, on the one hand, the timing doesn't matter, but on the other hand, I think they probably want to get some kind of finality sooner rather than later, going into the draft and going into free agency and all that kind of stuff.